All right. It's fantastic. Don't have internet, but I just watched Eraser again because, sometimes it's just better to not ask questions. They caught a train. Dude, personally, I think, I don't think there will ever be a better uh, action actor than Arnold Schwarzenegger. He just, he just does the entire scope of actor, action character better. I mean, I realize there's probably some people that think, Stallone, that they're Stallone fans. And of course, I love Jason Statham too. But he doesn't have the quite the career that Schwarzenegger has. And of course, the personal story, you know, the I came from a fucking different country, and wow. I mean, you got to admit, like when he was, what was he? Did he start off doing Conan? I think Conan was the first ones that he was doing. I mean, it was just like, ooh, that accent is rough. I was not like you know, a big fan of Conan, and I don't think I was really even able to watch him. My dad had a big, like, stick up his butt about, like, first of all, we weren't really able to rent a whole lot of movies. And it was like, I'm not letting you watch that stupid shit. All right, dude, I am a little boy. Like, what do you expect me to watch? McNeil Lehrer NewsHour with you? Oh, yes. Hyper intellectual shit. I'm like 2.5 years old. You'd be lucky if I can understand someone throwing rocks at another person's face. Like, all right. One rock, two rock, three rock, four, five rock, someone bashing him in the face. Like, okay, all right. I'm getting it. Like, success. He's understanding counting. All right. We're good with that. A rock, B rock, C rock, alphabet. All right. Now we're really cooking. Anyways, whatever. And if I may be so bold, he even did, what was it called? Kindergarten Cop. Yes. An easy uh, lean in to the topic. I don't know why I feel the need to smoke a cig during all of these, but it's kind of, now at this point, it's become like a cig after a meal kind of psychological thing, which is just another horrible, you know. I'm gonna have to, when I do quit, I'm gonna have to, like, pull these band-aids off one by one. I think actually that technique doesn't even work for me. I have to be like all at once. That's the only way that works for me. I had to just be like, bam, all gone. That's the only way shit works for me. For quitting stuff, I have to do it all at once. I can't be like, all right, this thing, and this thing, and this thing. No, that doesn't work. I have to be like, boom, one big giant band-aid, gone. It's the only way it fucking works. I can't titrate drugs away. No, that going to rehab shit does not fucking work for me. So education. I think everybody knows it needs a big ass reform. No bugs here. I think that gnat's gone, so that's good. Needs a huge reform. Spend a lot of money and don't really get a lot out. And if you've been paying any kind of attention, people want Bibles in public school. Go Texas. They succeeded with the Ten Commandments. Maybe that's as far as they uh, tried or considered trying. I don't know. And maybe they didn't know, realize, or even kind of consider, but it's like, dude, state and church state separation, do Ten Commandments, public building, and place of education, no less. Dude, we have a thing called Sunday school. Sunday school. It's in churches. Perfect place for the Ten Commandments. Like, you can even make, like, you can write them on a wall, an actual wall, and they'll be big. It's a perfect place for it. It's actually your house. Well, I mean, technically it's God's house, but, like, you know what I mean. So yeah, you know, go there. And it's tax free too. So there you go. And the whole day is for God. It's not just like an hour of classes. It's a whole day. Some people go twice a day. Some people go, apparently, according to the church that's over there, on Wednesday too. Ooh, you get a bonus day. I mean, there's a whole lot of crap to try to cram into kids' heads without having to have you trying to squeeze in extra time for one religion out of, I don't know, multiple hundreds. And yes, there are multiple hundreds, depending on how you want to parse them up. Because Christianity has, I mean, I'm surprised. I was surprised when I started really talking to one guy at one of the churches. And he was like, oh yeah, there's this, and then there's that, and then there's these guys, and then there's that guy. I'm like, oh. He just named out like 10 different versions of Christianity that I didn't know of. And I'm just like, really? What the hell? And what do they do? It's like, are you kidding me? Like, and these are all Christians. And like, well, you know, kind of not these ones. Another one. And I'm just like, huh? I don't even know about like the Jews and the Muslims, and that's only 3 different kinds of monotheistic religions. And it's just like, damn, how many different kinds of religions are there on the entire planet? Amazing. And this is a video on education, and I've already spent 10 minutes talking on this different weird ass shit of religion, which we really need to address, but whatever. So let me just try and get to the education reform part. This is how I think we need to lean into this reform thing. First of all, we desperately, desperately, desperately need to integrate the internet component of it, which is things like Khan Academy. I say Khan Academy, but I don't mean specifically and solely Khan Academy. I mean things like that, the model that is like that. Actually, we need to lean into allowing and encouraging. That's the word I was looking for. Shit. Allowing and encouraging the students to go on things like that. Not that weird ass Christian one that is like slavery was actually a good thing. Oh, really? Slavery was a good thing. So, what slave master did you belong to? That you were like, oh man, being a slave was great. Anytime somebody says some fucked up shit like that, you gotta be like, yep, that educational program is fucked and we do not need to support that shit. I don't know what it was, but you can look online to people. It's one that Trump wants to like fund. So right there, that's horrible. It's basically some weird super right wing conservative shit, and it's just like, yeah, we're not gonna do that because damn. Um, I mean, whatever. I would like to suggest something that I was thinking about, which is we've been leaning into this and been doing the same kind of model of grade, kindergarten through 8th through 12th, kind of, you do this grade and year by year, I don't know the exact ages because it's been a while since I've been in school. But year by year, everybody's in the same grade and you move along and then you learn the same things with every kid. And pretty much no one gets held back. I mean, it's pretty rare that anyone gets held back or moved ahead. And it was a very industrialized model, and many people have criticized it as being that model essentially. So more or less, you could just be babysitted and be primed for being a laborer. And the cream or whatever, the people that got skimmed off, that would be good candidates for more mental, either management or more academia level kind of stuff, would then proceed to those kinds of tasks. However, we should my brain is needing more and more to search for words that are apt. You should reconfigure the public school system to be a little more specialized in its education process, I think, so that every person should, throughout the K through 8, so I think the system should be configured K through 8, right? And then a second block of 9 through 12. Because 8th grade is pretty much like 8th grade, 9th grade, that's pretty much puberty time. There's a little wiggle room depending upon the individual person, but 8th grade and 9th grade, that's pretty much like the start of puberty. So, yeah. But basically 8th grade and before is you're not in puberty, and then 9th grade and after is like you're in puberty and you're going through that biological change. So that is essentially the reason I'm saying K through 9. But K through 9, and preschool is another kind of different thing. But different discussion. That kind of requires it's like a subspecialty, I think. Or maybe a specialty, either way. So K through 9 could be something like, you've integrated a little bit of online internet tools into there. Usable mainly at home. But maybe a little bit at the physical school. But this is getting long, but if you follow me, my thoughts are just a little hard to parse out sometimes. It would be something like, let me try and say this in a way that is going to make sense to other people, because it makes sense in here, but it's like a spaghetti. It's kind of like the teacher might shit. The teacher might shit. Everybody does poop, doesn't it? The standard format is when I was going to school, the standard format would be, you would just be in 1st through 5th, K through 5th. I think we just had everybody was in their own room, and then you would only kind of hang out with the people in the other one class of 1st grade, during recess. I think that's what it was. I think there were like 2 first grade and second, third, fourth, fifth grade. I think that's how it was. I don't remember. Maybe other smaller neighborhoods and districts and whatever might have, 3, or other smaller ones might have 1, other bigger ones might have 3, and maybe they may organize it differently. I don't know. But the thing I'm kind of proposing is that we kind of switch to a little bit more specialized thing where you do it kind of like high school, where we break it up more into subjects so that people that are learning, like when the teacher wants to teach, math, arithmetic in the early years, you kind of teach, give it like an introduction to math and arithmetic. The teacher can slowly get a feel for that, for who is strong and who is weaker. And then they give out group assignments, and you pair some of the strong ones with some of the weaker ones. And you make, like, if you got 25 kids in a class, you may make 5 groups of 5. And each group would have some stronger ones and some weaker ones. And the instruction would be have some of the kids teach some of the kids, other kids. And, it'd be like Monday would be math, and Tuesday would be reading, and Wednesday would be like some history stuff. And you'd go through the week with each day being a different subject instead of trying to do it hour by hour. Instead of trying to teach everything every day, you would do it like this day is this, and kind of like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to like put ideas out there to change up the format. And so essentially, because I noticed when I was going through the years that the kind of dynamic of especially with reading, this is something I did and I was guilty of. It was really annoying. Like, we had to go through and read stuff. I think Josh Johnson did this in one of his it's not really a special, but one of his hour things. And some kids were just really slow on picking up reading, and I was not. I could pick it up. I was way ahead of almost everybody else in the class. So even in first grade, I was just like, what? And there were other kids that were like, had to sound out like the, and I'm just like, what are we doing here? And so that doing, when we had to do that, like every day, it just got pathetically boring for me. Same, and honestly, I was kind of ahead of everybody else in every way in those early, like first through third and fourth grade. It's just, those things are just way too easy. Now I'm like, get up to calculus, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is. Why don't you just put it in alienese, because I'm never going to understand this. But I think if you do that, if you kind of have the teacher kind of farm out the work, in other words, it also would help you to, I know it sounds like I'm kind of being like, oh, so you're giving the teacher a pass on their job, and like you're encouraging the teacher to be lazy. Well, no. I'm hoping, kind of a hope there is, one, to make the school day more efficient, and also if you hopefully you put stronger and weaker students, stronger and weaker with this subject. Hopefully that cuts down on bullying, because I'm hoping that you can, through that process, find out, like a kid will find out, I may have a natural acuity for things like math and science and stuff, but I just don't understand like language and interpersonal relationships and shit like that. And this guy that sucks at the math and science and stuff really gets these kinds of things. And instead of both of them bullying each other, they don't. So maybe it kind of is like a way to cut down on that animosity without having to have them go to anti-bullying seminars or some shit, which I don't know. I don't know if they'll work. I don't know if they work or not. Maybe they do, whatever. I'm just saying, like, if you can combine learning exercises together, it makes things more efficient. And there you go. If you can make public education more efficient, and hopefully early on get kids to discover something that they're good at, and maybe that they like doing, then later on they'll be like, yeah, I like painting stuff. I've always liked doing it. Because another kid will be like, I hate doing this. Well, let me show you how to do it. This is what I found works for me. Another kid, maybe he doesn't really like doing it, but personally, my stick figures suck ass. Maybe someone could have helped me draw better stick figures if we had this kind of system. Because seriously, I'm not joking. My stick figures suck ass. Like, they really suck ass. They're not good stick figures. I don't know how you can't draw good stick figures, but they suck ass. So there you go. It's just some thoughts on education. I don't know if anybody's going to see this, but the hope with all of these kinds of things is that if anyone sees these, they add to it. Hopefully, other people are doing these kinds of things, making these kinds of videos, putting out suggestions, putting out ideas for ways to make things better. Okay, that's nothing. Ideas for ways to make things better instead of just, bitching at who is the problem. I think Trump and the administration is a big problem. I'll keep saying that. I'll keep putting that argument out there. I have, for a long time, held the opinion that Republicans are evil and everything. But at some point, you do have to kind of just be like, well, here is a solution that I think works. What do you think about it? What would you like to do? Not, you're an asshole, fuck you, and go to hell. That's, that doesn't, that doesn't really do anything. Just keeping the sniping at each other doesn't help you, doesn't help me, doesn't help. I don't have any kids, but it doesn't help your kids, and it doesn't help my theoretical kids that will never exist because nobody likes me. So, um, yeah. So there you go. Just keep building on that, and oh, and also keeping up that animosity. At some point in your life, it just gets tiring too. I don't know how so many old people, especially like 55, 65 year olds, keep that up with such fervor. You must be, I don't know what your diet is or what you're taking, but you got a lot of energy for a 65-year-old. So, yeah. All right. Keep on keeping on, and I still say tax the shit out of rich people. Ball punch them, kneecap them, whatever you gotta do. Get a big hammer and hit that thing, like, that makes stuff come out of it. I, you know what I'm talking about? Like, bing, and stuff. Maybe like a pinata too. Yeah. Just think of it in your head. Money comes out. And boobs. Boobs.